We've got Kathryn Rooney Vera with us, the Bulltick capital market strategist, Steve Moore, economist, a former advisor to President Trump, Democratic strategist Ari Aramesh here as well. Ari, I would begin with you then. What do you make of that? I get what the transportation secretary is saying, and EVs are certainly attractive vehicles down the road. I get it. But I don't think ready for prime time here. And these incidents over the last couple of weeks between the utility problems in California and the power outages and disaster in Florida, we got to reassess this. What do you think?
I think you're both right. On the one hand, there's a lot more work to be done to get electrical vehicles to, as you say, get ready for prime time. At the same time, this is the wave of the future. This is something that we have to focus on. And I want to focus on something a little bigger. That's energy independence. Now, if your power goes out, it's going to be hard to pump gas, too, because those gas stations, they're not just mechanical. It's electrical pumps that pump that gas out of the tankers and bring it up to the nozzle, and then you can actually put it in your car. But let's focus on what's been happening the past few weeks and few months with OPEC, with Russia and Ukraine, with Iran. If the U.S. and the free world reach a level of energy independence from countries such as Venezuela, that the U.S. is now reaching out to, from places like Putin's Russia, the Ayatollah's Iran, where the past 4 weeks has seen a brutal crackdown of a protest for women's rights, human rights, and generally, a regime change for that matter, we would have a lot more options at the table. Let's put it this way. Every day, billions of dollars go to the pockets of despots like Putin, despots like Ayatollah Khamenei, and they limit and they restrict our foreign policy and national security decision-making. Now, imagine a world a few years from now where taking action, be it intervention, be it sanctions, be it diplomatic sort of isolation against Russia, against Venezuela, against the Islamic Republic of Iran, would have a lot less consequences.
No, I agree with what you're saying, but Steve, the issue is for now we need them. For now, we're complaining that the Saudis are leading OPEC and OPEC plus countries to curtail production. So we need those nefarious characters. It didn't used to be that way.
Yeah, boy, is this a frustrating argument. So Biden shuts down our oil and gas production. We would be about 3 million more barrels a day if we just stuck with the Trump policies. And now people are saying, oh, gee, we're dependent on Russia and Iran and Venezuela for oil. Well, there's no reason we have to be. We're not running out of oil. We have 250 years worth of oil. We have 300 years of natural gas. I'm not against electric vehicles. I think electric vehicles could be part of our, transportation infrastructure. But my goodness, right now, only 5 or 6% of the cars that are sold in America are electric vehicles. A lot of Americans just don't want electric vehicles. And I'll tell you one thing, Neil, Americans don't want government to tell them what kind of car they can buy.
Kathryn, full disclosure here, I own an electric vehicle. I have nothing against the technology. I think it's pretty neat. Has its limitations. I could digress. But the fact of the matter is, let me decide that. Let the market decide that, not the government. Your thoughts?
Well, that's every mother's worst nightmare. I live in Florida, for example. If you have several children, I have 5. You're trying to evacuate Miami or South Florida and migrate to Georgia or North Carolina, and a Cat 3 or 4 is encroaching quickly upon you, and your electric car dies. But the same thing with oil, right? I mean, oil evaporates. Gas pumps dry up. There's a dearth when everyone is looking for the same thing. Then scarcities loom. I agree with Steve. There's no reason we should be knocking on the door of Venezuela or Iran or Saudi Arabia when we've closed the Dakota pipelines and the Keystone pipelines. The U.S. could be enormously energy independent. We have so much capacity. So it's really, we've handcuffed ourselves and handicapped ourselves into forcing oil prices higher. It's a real tragedy. Germany has encountered the same situation, making themselves wholly vulnerable, Neil, to Russian energy. And now they're firing up, the coal factories. So look, I think both things can coexist. My Tesla is due to arrive in November, so I'm excited about it. But oil prices don't need to be as high as they are. The U.S. should be independent and self-sufficient. And if we invest in ourselves and don't handicap ourselves, Neil, we can be, and oil prices will be lower.
All right, just don't let that Tesla get flooded, and make sure it's not parked in your garage. But I jest. But to make a serious point, these are serious questions that you all raised, and one way you say part of it we have to address as a country together. I want to thank you all. In the meantime,